This is the fifth of a series of video tutorials on creating Rhino plugins that use the UMI framework. In this tutorial, we'll be learning about how to false color buildings according to your UMI module's simulation results. I've opened the UMI project that I've been working with in this tutorial series. I've already run an UMI lifecycle simulation for these buildings, and you can see that the UMI lifecycle tab is selected and the buildings are false colored according to those simulation results. When I switch to the transit carbon tab, the buildings revert to their uncolored states, but when I switch back to the lifecycle tab, the colors return. One of the features that the UMI framework provides is the automatic display of the false colors specified by the selected simulation tab. All your module has to do is provide a function that tells UMI how to false color each building, and UMI will do the rest. Let's return to Visual Studio and see how that works. We gain access to UMI's false coloring capabilities by implementing another override on our plugin class that implements UMI module, here called Transit Carbon Demo Plugin. As before, start typing protected override with a trailing space to see a list of potential overrides. Choose false color. Visual Studio provides a stub for us to fill out. You can see that the method takes as a parameter the GUID of the building that UMI wants to false color and returns the color that the building should have. The question mark means it's optional. You can return null to indicate that the building should not be colored. In order to implement this method, we need some way to map building GUIDs to colors. For this demonstration, we'll use a very simple coloring scheme. If a building's transit carbon is more than 100,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide a year, we'll color it red. Otherwise, we'll color it green. So we need to use the provided object ID to look up a building's transit carbon. Fortunately, we've stored our simulation results in a dictionary in this plugin class called results. You can see it up here at the top. So we can just use this dictionary to do what we need to do. First, we'll check to see if the provided GUID is even associated with the result. It might not be. For example, if a user adds a new building, UMI will try to immediately false color it even though no simulation result exists yet. So we first have to check. If it doesn't contain a result, we'll just return null, meaning UMI shouldn't try to color this building. Otherwise, we check what the result is. If the result is above our threshold, we'll return red. Otherwise, we'll return green. Let's launch our plugin to see this in action. Open your project. Go to the Transit Carbon tab. You can see that the buildings have been colored according to our coloration scheme. If we switch to another simulation tab, they're uncolored, and then if we switch back again, the colors return. This tutorial has shown you how to do basic false coloring in UMI. In modules you develop, you'll probably want more sophisticated false coloring functions, but the techniques in this tutorial will still be applicable.